This series analyzes the Tabula Smaragdina, the emerald tablet, using the earliest known Arabic version. The text presents a worldview about a force that essentially follows the theory of Anaxagoras, with a few modifications shaped by concepts associated with Plotinus. The main topic is the creation and use of an object that receives and amplifies this force, an object later known as the Philosopher's stone. The stone's original substance, form, and physical characteristics were soon lost. As early as Zosimos, who lived around 300 CE, it had already slipped into the realm of myth. As sources grounded in lived practice disappeared, the features preserved in rumor could be expressed only through symbols. The previous part shows the best-known representations. Strange as it may sound, a stone fits these symbolic descriptions, and a sequence of operations can be mapped onto the emerald tablet's cryptic expressions. The name Emerald Tablet clearly alludes to the emerald gemstone. It seems reasonable to assume that the steps for creating the Philosopher's stone were written down on a tablet made from the same material. Could the stone itself have been made of emerald? However, it is important to note that emerald is a gemstone rather than a stone in the usual sense. Zosimos wrote, "Receive this stone which is not a stone, this precious thing which has no value. But an emerald has considerable value." He also wrote, "The stone is not formed until it has gathered all the colors that exist in the universe, and until it has been colored with all the simple and complex colors." In contrast, an emerald has a stable, bright green color. Moreover, Steele and Singer noted about the meaning of the emerald adjective in Egypt and Greece. The term emerald was used by them and by the Greeks for any green substance, not only the true beryl, but also green granite and perhaps green jasper. So the phrase emerald tablet may refer simply to a tablet made of a green stone. In fact, there is a stone that matches the later descriptions, as well as a set of operations performed with it that aligns with the emerald tablet's hints. That stone is fluorite. It is not a jewel or gemstone, but a semi-precious mineral. It is not especially valuable, but neither is it worthless. Fluorite, most commonly green or purple, can display many rainbow colors, sometimes several within a single specimen. For a follower of Anaxagoras, this diversity suggests the presence of many different seeds. Its color can also shift under different lighting conditions. When exposed to UV light, fluorite fluoresces, which phenomenon was named after the mineral itself. In caves, this can sometimes be seen in certain rays of sunlight, and some varieties show the effect even in daylight. Under intense sunlight, some stones glow and reflect all the colors of the rainbow. In this sense, the stone reflects light almost as if the sun were its father. Zosimos writes, "The stone is not formed until it has gathered all the colors that exist in the universe, and until it has been colored with all the simple and complex colors." And also, "Receive this stone which is not a stone, this precious thing which has no value, this polymorphous object who has no form, this unknown who is known to all, who has several names and who has no name. For this stone is not a stone, and while very precious, it has no inner value. His nature is unique, his name is unique." Fluorite is not a gemstone, but a stone. More precisely, a semi-precious stone. Small tablets have been made from fluorite. Its Mohs hardness is 4, that is relatively low, which makes it easy to carve. The name fluorite comes from the Latin fluere, to flow, referring to its ability to lower the melting point of certain ores and materials during smelting, including iron and copper. In simpler terms, calcium binds to impurities, while fluoride improves fluidity and helps reduce the melting point. These effects can look almost like a magical transformation of raw matter. This semi-precious stone can be found in many places, for example in mines, including the ancient mines of the Attic Peninsula. And it can also be found at the surface of mountainous regions. In the Anaxagoras, Meyer quotes Zosimos, "Behold the most high mountains, which are both on the right and left, and climb up thither. There is our stone found, and in another mountain, which produces all sorts of painter colors, and spirits or species, there likewise it is." Under intense light, fluorite can lose its color and develop a white surface layer, shades reminiscent of an egg, milk, or alabaster. Fluorite found that Earth's surface often shows this kind of whitish coating. In the Anaxagoras, Meyer reads Zosimos' lines as a chemical description, referring to him here as Zosimos. The wise man said, "Take things out of their minds and exile them to higher places, and send them from the top of their mountains and reuse them to their roots." Elsewhere, Zosimos describes the stone as having a color that resembles an egg. Concerning the comparison of their egg with an egg of a hen, that is because the colors of their egg are like the colors of an egg. In another passage from the Anaxagoras, Zosimos is quoted as saying, "Hereupon says Rosinus in his book of Divine Interpretations, take the stone which is black, white, red, citrine, that admirable bird which flies without wings in the darkness of the night and the clearness of the day." When fluorite is heated, during calcination for example, it can begin to emit light, as though it were holding the light of the lights. It is important that such heating can release highly toxic fluoride fumes, so an adept would have needed effective ventilation and protection to carry out the operation safely. At higher temperatures, this stone turns to liquid. The earlier quotation from Zosimos continues in the Anaxagoras as follows. Concerning their comparison of their egg with the egg of a hen, that is, because the colors of their egg are like the colors of an egg. Secondly, before they dissolved it, they knew it had a flying fugitive in it, which is what escapes with its companions. Like when you have the egg of the hen in your hand, and you know that it is neither the egg of a hen nor its body, and when its egg is put under the hen, a bird comes out. The egg of the sages is like that. It has in it a body and a soul, and it has something that escapes in it, which is the magnesia, and they named it like that, but its name changed. This also helps us understand other statements attributed to Zosimos. His nature is unique, so that if it is called either to be who frees fire, or white vapor, or white copper, one does not lie. He says that it is reused entirely to a condensed cloud, since it flees fire unlike all other metallic bodies. Most likely, emerald originally meant not a specific gemstone, but greenstone in general. The tablet stone was fluorite, a semi-precious mineral rather than an extremely valuable gemstone. Fluorite's shifting colors, its rainbow-like fluorescence, and its ability to turn egg white under intense light cross the Zosimos descriptions. The wingless bird and the fugitive that escapes during heating also fit this mineral. The next part begins the analysis of the operations used to create and activate the stone.